Shortly. Just a reminder, please silence your phones. Before you ask a question, please state your name and media affiliation. If you're joining us on the Zoom, raise your hand, and we will address your question there if there is time. And as always, as a reminder, please no recordings of this press conference. You can go on the ncaa.veritone.com at the conclusion to get a recording of this press conference. One more note before St. Louis gets up here. The 102 points were the most points ever scored in an NCAA tournament game here in the KeyBank Center, eclipsing the 101 points scored by Michigan a mere few hours ago. So, congratulations, Coach. Coach, if you'd be nice enough to open up with a statement, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes before returning to Q&A with Coach.
Well, certainly, I thought our guys, unbelievable performance. Georgia's got a terrific team. Obviously Coach White does a great job. They have really good players. They've had a fantastic season. Watched them a bunch in the SEC, and so congratulations to them on a terrific year. But I thought our guys, set a great tone early in the game from a physicality standpoint. It certainly leaving Pittsburgh felt like our fight and our competitiveness was getting back to the level that we were used to, and we had to bring some discipline and brains to it. And after some bad fouls early, I thought we did a great job in all the areas we needed to. I thought we really, we played super hard. We were really physical. I thought we executed well, and I thought we were connected and together. So proud of our guys. Certainly a great win, and now we'll get a chance to try to do it again. Play. Obviously, I think the best team in the country on Saturday.
All right, questions for the student athletes. We'll start up here. Or go ahead, Jonah, if you have a microphone. Sorry.
Jonah Bronstein with the Associated Press. Dion, your team had 66 points in the paint. I think every one of your baskets came at the rim, and during a big run you guys had, pretty much every basket at the rim. Just how were you able to get that many quality shots and that much close to the net?
I mean, understanding deep details and staying disciplined. We run our offense where if a guy drives, you better make that cut. And I made the cut. Guys got me open. I was able to, hit guys, find seams, and it just worked out in my favor today.
All right, we'll go in the back and then come up front here.
Andre Robinson, Challenger Community News. This question is for all three of y'all. What statement was made tonight with this marquee win over an SEC opponent?
I think we've kind of been making a statement all year. I don't think it was just based off just one game. I think we've shown that we can compete at a high level with any given team, and so whether it's in our conference with A-10 teams or it's the Power 5 teams, and so I think we just came and treated it like another game, and we're ready to compete at a high level.
We'll go up front here.
Tom Timmerman, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Dion, you came out in both halves looking like you had something to get done. What was in your mind there? Because you had the first 6 points in both halves.
I mean, empty the tank. I'm a senior. My first time being in the tournament. I have nothing to lose, everything to gain. I wanted to do this for myself, but most importantly for my guys. It's a big accomplishment to be in March Madness and play, in front of all your fans, in front of everyone on national TV. So I just thought I had nothing to lose. Why not?
Oh, right here. We'll go ahead first.
Segura, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Any of the players is welcome to take this. One thing I noted was you guys won so many 50-50 balls, offensive rebounds. Can you speak a little bit about that and kind of what that said about your effort tonight?
We knew coming in to today's game that, or tonight's game that, it was going to be us having to win on 50-50 balls to have a chance to win. So, we talked about it, all weekend, just, how physical and how athletic this team is. And, credit to our guys, we came out to compete and, we were playing hard from the start. So.
All right, we'll go down here.
Stu Durando, Substack. Amari,
Gotcha.
hey, Amari. You guys have at times, relied on the three tonight. They weren't falling in the first half and early in the second half, but you guys were still able to pull away, obviously. Was this kind of an example of you guys being able to win and operate offensively efficiently without the three-pointer?
Yeah, definitely. You know, our offense is, all guys are activated. So, they're taking away the three. Georgia has to play something, So if they take away the three, we got lanes. And, if they take away the lanes and, flood on drives, we got shooters. So, today, they were more so, I would say, playing the three a lot. Obviously, we got a lot of wide open threes. But for the most part, we were getting to the rim. And, if they flooded, we're just kicking out to our shooters. So.
Over here.
Tyler Ather, Picking Splinters. Robbie, this one's for you. You guys obviously had a great first half tonight, but that first 5-minute stretch in the second half really sealed it for you guys. What was the message at halftime, and what do you think the difference was in those opening few minutes?
We just talked about how it's a long basketball game. The first 20 minutes were over, but we had 20 more minutes left to play, and so we knew if we came out strong and, we really reset the tone in those first few minutes, we could really take their will away. And so I think it showed because we were able to, after the first, I think we scored 6, they called a timeout, and then we came back and, scored 10 more, I think. And so we were able to really, pile on them early and, kind of, like I said, take their will away and, really allow us to finish that game early.
We're going to the back there.
Frank Dabari, mid-major basketball. Robbie, another efficient night for you tonight. You were dealing with that foot and ankle injury last week and a couple weeks ago. Is that still bothering you? If so, how have you been able to play around it?
Yeah, it did bother me a few games ago, but I've been feeling great, feeling good now, and so I'm just ready to continue to play for as long as we possibly can, and I'm just ready, like I said, excited to play with my guys right here.
Over here, John.
John Worrell with the Associated Press. This is also for Robbie, and I'm sorry for having all the attention on you, but
We're used to it.
Hey, question's 2-2 right now.
What's it mean to have been on this journey with Josh and now to get an NCAA tournament win? What's that mean?
You want the truth or you want me to fake it?
Which one's better?
All right. Yeah, it's been a special time. Our 4 years together, starting at Indiana State, was a lot of fun. We built so many, great memories together. So many runs. We did it again sophomore year. In the NIT, and so to make it to the tournament and not only just make it, but get a win and continue to keep dancing has, been fun. It's been special. But not only just him, but this whole entire team. It's been such a special season, and so I love these guys. They love me, and so we're going to continue to play for as long as we can.
Follow-up? Was that the truth, or were you faking it?
I'll let you decide.
This gentleman up front here.
Amari, that run to start the second half, 18-0, which is even big by even your standards for this team. What was the feeling during that as it goes on and you keep scoring and scoring and scoring and then stopping them on the other end?
Man, it was amazing. It kind of just felt like we were getting closer and closer to, victory. And, shout out to the guys. We didn't get complacent. We kept our head on our shoulders and, we just kept going. And, that was pretty much.
How much fun was that?
It was a lot. It was a lot. It was so much fun. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot.
All right. Last question in the back there.
Andre Robinson, Challenger Community News. This is for all three of you guys. The last tournament appearance was in 2019. Talk about the tools that your coach has given you to get you to this point to be super successful the way you've been so far.
I mean, he's been talking about the same things all year. Let your defense help your offense and vice versa. And today we were actually able to implement that in the way I think that'll make him happy. I spoke on it before. We finished our last 8 games 4-4, and to come out here today and play St. Louis basketball, it's not surprising to us because we've been doing it, but it's kind of refreshing to say, hey, we can still do this.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll excuse the student athletes, and we'll have the questions now for Coach Schertz.
I do have
Yeah, we'll start right here in the blue. Go ahead.
Hey, Josh. Tom
Hey, Tom.
Timmerman, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I guess it's one for the annals of your great halftime speeches. What did the start of the second half, how did everything get going, both attacking at the rim and the defensive stops?
Yeah, I think the defense fueled everything. We talked at halftime that, the first 5 minutes would really establish kind of what the game was going to be like in the second half because I think we went up 17. And, generally, if you can go out and really throw a punch there to start the second half, you can kind of, knock them out. If they're able to come and throw the first punch and they cut it to 10, 9, now it's a game and they get their confidence back. So we just talked about nothing more overrated than a halftime lead, and first 5 minutes would really set a tone for what the second half is going to look like. And I thought we did a really good job defensively. We got a bunch of stops. We were able to get a couple turnovers, force some turnover steals, get in transition, and that's when we're at our best. It's always been a team where the defense fuels the offense, not the other way around. And I thought our defense tonight was, until the last 5 minutes, was great.
Over here.
Yeah. Josh, you told the story yesterday about the guy you coached at Lincoln Memorial who slashed his eye and the next day made 9 3-pointers. Deion didn't make 9 3-pointers, but he made 9 layups and dunks after cutting his eye. Did you tell him that story at all?
I actually did tell him that story. I did, and we're going to start just cutting all our players' eyes. Everybody's getting stitches before the Michigan game, so we're like the old Rocky movie, cut me Mick. So we're just going to cut guys and see what happens. But no, it's he was awesome, and it was great to see. But I did tell him that story, and he got pretty excited. He's like, oh, I might make 9 threes. He didn't make any threes, but he was 9 for 9 from 2, and was I think the catalyst in both halves.
Over here.
Coach, you guys had 6 in double figures tonight and another 2 with 9. Just how does it make you feel knowing that everyone has it going and that anyone can get you guys a bucket if you need it?
I think the depth has been a key all year, particularly in a game like Georgia where they're so big and physical, guys can wear down. The game was so fast paced. So you're in transition offense, you're getting pressed. I mean, there's no way guys could play 35 minutes not well in a game like that. And so I thought, like you said, 6 guys in double figures, 2 with 9, 1 with 7, all 9 guys that are in our rotation. They've contributed all year, and they've sacrificed all year. You look at our minutes, I don't think anybody averages more than 26 minutes a game, and, that takes a special kind of competitive character. Like Deion has, 18 points, he only plays 21 minutes. Paul Otieno's great tonight. He gets 9 points, 4 rebounds, plays 11 minutes, so, and he's happy. They're happy. They're great teammates to each other, and that depth has been our calling card, all year long. That we got a bunch of different guys, and it might not be somebody's night every night, but we got so many options that it's usually somebody's night every night.
Time for 2 more questions. We're on down here.
Jack Godar, A10 Talk. Slews has a lot of renown for its 3-point shooting, and today they weren't necessarily falling. I just wonder if you could talk a little bit about Slew's philosophy towards getting towards the rim and having things flow from that.
Yeah, I mean that actually is the philosophy. Is to get the ball to the rim and then decide from there. The defense always tells you what to do. There's a right play to be made. You got to make the right play. Whether that's the ball being driven, whether that's rolls, whether that's post ups, whether that's off ball action. Everything is tried to design to get the ball to the rim, play with unbelievable force, and then make the right decisions. And sometimes that's you. I think the first half, I don't know what it finished with. First half we had 13 no dribble layups. And you're hunting those, and at halftime we had 13 of them. We were 3 for 15 from 3, but we had 49 points. And so I thought our spacing was great. Our active spacing was great. We had a bunch of drives. We got the ball downhill. I thought we were really disciplined with our QB. We call them QB decisions, but rim decisions. And found guys both on the perimeter and in the paint. Even the threes, the 3-15, I thought most of them. We had a couple bad ones in the first half, but most of them were really high-quality threes. And so that's the offense. It's twos and the rim first, and then the defense tells you what to do, and you play behind that.
Final question in the back there.
Coach Frank DeBari, mid-major basketball. After your tough loss to Dayton in the Atlantic 10 tournament, you find out about 24 hours later you're playing a top-tier Power 5 school. What has been your message to the guys over the past couple days to get them ready for tonight?
Yeah, I think, I thought we found ourselves the last 60 minutes in Pittsburgh. I thought the second half against GW, really good team. We're down 21. We rallied back to win. And then I think we're down 15 at half, 14 at half, something like that. And we rallied back to win, and we really found ourselves second half. And the Dayton game, we competed great. We fought great. We just didn't play well enough to win, 18 turnovers and a bunch of fouls. But the compete level, the fight was right. And I just told him, I said, look, we bring that level of fight, that level of competitiveness. We put some brains and discipline to it. We're certainly going to have a chance. And I think, the A-10, you see it with us winning, with VCU winning. I mean, this league prepares you. I mean, I know they're, I guess, upsets, but I don't think VCU winning is an upset. I don't think us winning is an upset. We play in one of the best leagues in the country. And I think when you look at A-10 teams coming, it's pretty common that they come and win and they beat Power 5 teams. We can't usually get them unless it's in this situation. But the Atlantic 10 Conference, one of the best leagues in the country. We're lucky to play in it. It prepared us for tonight, and I prepared VCU. And, certainly, I think that wasn't any, that part was but I thought we just played with more discipline than we had in Pittsburgh.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach, if you open up for the statement, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes.
Yeah, really disappointed in our effort, starting with myself. That obviously we weren't very prepared to compete at the level that I thought we would. Did not see this coming. Tough way to end a season. Didn't give St. Louis much of a game. Honestly, again, just being honest with you, I did not see that coming. Expected to win the game. These guys have practiced really hard all week, been locked in our preparation, and played as disconnected as we've played all season. Really proud of our regular season. We broke records. We did things that have never happened, obviously, in the history of Georgia basketball. But our plan was to come here and play well and compete in advance. And just a tough way to end it. That said, I thought St. Louis was terrific. Obviously, we knew they were really good on film. But in person, the way that they executed it, and their tempo and their flow offensively, and their offensive connection, the way that they shared it, the way that they spaced it, their split-second passing decisions 1 through 5 to one another. You didn't know who was going to get the shot. They just took their shot. And it's something I've talked to you guys about all year, and we've done that at times. Even though we're not the best defensive team, unfortunately, we're sitting here in the 80s as this season ends, which is something that we don't want to stand for at Georgia. We've got to be better than that defensively. But at times we've been a really good offense and fun to watch and sharing it and flowing. And that was not us tonight. The ball stuck early. We took a lot of shots over St. Louis defenders while other guys were open. And again, St. Louis, just credit their entire program, starting with Coach Schertz. They moved us. They executed their concepts. They found the open guy, and he made shots. They made the game look simple. And again, unfortunate. Great regular season. We come here, and did not play well. So I'm disappointed for our couple seniors. They're done. Justin Abson and Justin Bailey, Uncle Skill and Uncle Motor, great kids, great young men. I hate that their college careers are over. I wish we could have finished it on a better note, but I am as ready to get back to work as I've ever been.
I'll take questions for the student athletes. Just raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone up front here.
Yeah, Smurf, it seemed like in the first half you guys really couldn't find a rhythm offensively. What did you feel like just didn't allow you guys to get much scoring going and get much of a rhythm on offense?
I feel like we just came out flat. The defense was being very disruptive. We wasn't getting our shots. We was taking like my turn shots. We wasn't really moving the ball. I think they had like 15 assists. We had 2 at halftime. So that's pretty much what that was.
This is for Jeremiah. How does this result impact how you guys as players view this season, given the success you had in the regular season, but once again a disappointing NCAA tournament showing?
We know what we have in that locker room, and what we saw today on the court and what everybody saw, that wasn't us. And Coach can say, we could have been prepared different. That honestly wasn't the truth. We were prepared well for this game. We just came out flat. I don't know exactly what it was in the locker room, like what happened, but we weren't ready to play today, and we didn't act like we wanted to be here. And you're not going to win the game in the NCAA tournament when the other team wants to be here and we don't want to be here. So we had a great season, but at the end of the day, when it matters, we didn't come through.
Over here, Blue.
Marcus, Smurf and Jeremiah, why would you guys be flat with everything on the line for the season?
I really don't know. I couldn't even answer. Like, I don't know.
There's no answer.
I would say like it's a lot of us our first time in the tournament. Not that is an excuse, but I really don't know. I couldn't answer the question.
Over here.
Jeremiah, when you say like it was almost like you didn't want to be out there, what did that feel like, or what were you guys doing or not doing that was atypical from how you normally play?
I mean, we didn't play hard at all. Turnovers, we're not getting back, and I'm guilty of it a couple times too. But as a team, they got out and ran on us, and we couldn't get rebounds, and they went and got rebounds. We were the bigger team today, so we have no excuse for that. We were probably the more athletic team, so there's no excuse for what happened today, and really it's just I don't even know what happened.
Up front here.
This is for Jeremiah. What was the message in the locker room at halftime in terms of trying to get back into the game and the adjustments you guys could have made?
Pretty much the same thing we're saying here. We got to come out and play hard. Our will to win has to be higher. We took some bad shots. We got to find a rhythm. But at the end of the day, when you're missing shots, you can't be giving up buckets on defense. And if we're going to be off, there's ways to win games when you're off shooting the ball. And we didn't give enough effort to win the game when we were off shooting the ball.
Do you think you guys played hard in the second half?
No, not at all.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, we'll excuse them now. Thank you. And then questions for Coach White. Go up front here.
Mike, I guess just going off of what Smurf and what Jeremiah said, I mean, how do you reckon with trying to figure out how this went wrong, where they're up here saying that they felt like there was a lack of effort?
I can't dodge that. We played with less effort than we've played in any game this season, and it's not even close. Not even close. That last group or two in the final 5 or 6 minutes mustered up some turnovers and stops and shared it a little bit. Fell into some open threes, made some, missed some. Got a couple offensive rebounds, but they were quicker to the basketball for 40 minutes. I'll have to go back and reevaluate everything we did. Did we go too hard in practice? Did we go too long? We went twice today. We went twice yesterday. They played more fresh for sure. So I always will look in the mirror first with our preparation. But our guys were juiced before the game, I can tell you that, with their body language and with what they were vocalizing, to us and to each other. I think that these things happen more often in the NCAA tournament than they do in the regular season. They just do. Heck, we were more resilient and played harder through negative plays on the road in the SEC in front of 23,000 booing us, you know. But I agree with some of the things Jeremiah said. We didn't play very hard when we got off to a really tough start and not making shots and getting beat down the court and missed. We had some effort plays early, which we've seen all year. Like our defensive rebounding numbers are atrocious. They're atrocious. They have been all year. We've been able to overcome it by better offense at times and turning you over. But they got second possessions early off just simple missed blockouts. And credit these guys, their wings, their attention to detail, you know, with blocking out, with screening for one another, all those little things that we're just trying to get better at every day. You wish we would have done it better down the stretch in this one and in the SEC tournament. But when you find yourselves down 6-8 double-figure points early, and the stage is big, and emotionally you were really ramped up before the game, and it's not going well for you, emotions can get the best of you. And then all of a sudden it's like, and I've been there before as a player, and you try to help these guys just stay in the moment, be where your feet are, next play mentality. Just think, I know we're down 8, and I know I just missed a shot. What is my next play? Turn around and sprint back. Who am I matched up with? Jump to the ball, contest a shot. We looked, when we got down 10, 12 points, our body language was, oh my gosh, what just happened? Which is unlike this team. This team has been, you guys know it, this team's been so resilient. We went in and watched some plays at halftime that I've never seen this team do, that I've never seen us do, not them, us. With point-blank layups at the rim, with guys looking and not even jumping and trying to contest the shot. It just, the lack of effort was really disappointing. I haven't experienced something like that in a long, long time. I don't remember the last time. And I certainly haven't seen this team play like that with that lack of effort defensively and on the glass. But at times we played really hard with the ball in our hands, and that's not the right recipe, as we know. They were way more connected than us. We practiced better yesterday than we played today. And but credit St. Louis, they're terrific. I told Josh Dusty would probably call me and try to get some tips, but he may not because I'm not sure what we did really well, you know, to help Michigan. But we wish St. Louis the best, and we would have liked to advance, of course, but just obviously didn't play anywhere near where we needed to play.
Go up front. Oh, right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mike, obviously you guys ended a 10-year drought for the program, getting the tournament last year. You get back this year, but
yeah.
but the tournament results have been lopsided. The land both the games.
Yeah.
You know, what do you make of that, and how important is it to get a win for this tournament in the tournament for this program?
Yeah, it's huge. It's the next step, you know, and we the regular season we had it speaks for itself, you know. We'll finish with the highest this and the highest that and break this record and all that record and so on and so forth. But you do that for postseason opportunities like this. And it's just, again, I expected to win this game. You know, I thought last year, but we'll have to do these 3 or 4 things really, really well to have a chance against a team that, and I shouldn't compare them, but I thought that they were underseeded last year, right? It's a different story. We anticipated coming into this one against a team that really St. Louis hasn't been playing great at the end of the season. Earlier on in the year, they put a lot of it together today. They put a lot together today and played really well. And again, wish them the best. And I thought they were terrific. But we anticipated having success in this one. I think we're a better team than a year ago, you know, and I thought this was more of a better matchup for us, at least offensively. I knew it was going to be a tough matchup defensively for us. It was even tougher than I thought. But, yeah, I mean, just from a positivity, optimism standpoint, from a building culture standpoint, we expect to get back again and then get back again. But the next step is we got to break through. And to have to wait, my gosh, I'm sick to my stomach that we got to wait potentially for another year, to have this opportunity again. Because, if you lose 90 to 86 and you had a chance down this and you did a lot of good things and they just hit some hard shots and we were really connected and we were in character, you can live with it. But this one's going to be hard for me at least, to think about for a while, and that's why I'm ready to get back at it. I'm ready for spring workouts to start tomorrow morning if we were in Athens.
All right, time for 2 more questions. We'll go back up here.
Yeah, another blowout loss in the NCAA tournament. What kind of impact do you think this will have as you continue to try to build out this program and turn it into something that comes next?
It'll be a factor. We already addressed it in the locker room with our guys. That's not our standard. That's not what we're trying to build. It's not acceptable, the effort. It's just, we're in the NCAA tournament. These kids have been preparing for this, some more than others, excited about this their entire lives. I remember watching the NCAA tournament when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, and I'm blessed enough to coach a team in it. And to jog back and transition defense is unacceptable. It is sickening. Whether we're up 10, down 10, and I'm gonna cut myself off. But we want to prepare for next year, not for the outcome of this opportunity if it provides itself to us next year, if we earn it, but to play harder and with more pride and to play with more excitement about being in the tournament. St. Louis played excited. We wrote down on the whiteboard before we came out, the last message to our guys was, let's play with joy. We've earned it. Let's play with joy. Let's play really, really hard. We've got nothing to lose. We had a great regular season. Maybe we overthought it a little bit in the conference tournament, and we had already lost to Ole Miss, and all these details and all these things you can get caught up with. Man, let's just play really, really hard. And, they just shot a lot of layups against a flat-footed defense, and when they missed shots, they got their own rebounds at a way too high of a rate.
All right, one last question in the back there.
Yeah, Coach, you said it a couple times where you're ready to get going and everything like that after such a loss like that to end the season. How do you though go through the process and swallow the pill of what just happened, where you went in after this historic season and it just falls flat?
Communication with staff, with student athletes. We'll have one-on-one meetings. We'll have group meetings. What's so unique in today's day and age is, and don't let me ramble for a while, it's so late. I know you guys are ready to get out of here. It's 1 a.m., but so many of these student athletes playing in this tournament mentally might have a couple toes in the portal. They might have a foot in the portal. They might have a foot and a half in the portal. They've got they've got communication with relatives, with former coaches, and now with agents, right? And so, first and foremost, where are we at with our roster? Let's try to figure that out as soon as possible. Unfortunately, we got to wait for the portal to open, and then we've got to go through that process. We will hold workouts, but who wants to be worked out? How locked in are we going to be? Who are going to be your teammates next year? And the guys who are working out, we might not even be coaching them. It's just different, and and that's not all negative. It's just we're all adapting to a new landscape. It's our world now. So you wish you knew right now, but there's a holding pattern, right? And there's a reevaluation of everything we're doing, and hopefully, as soon as possible, we know who our roster is, and really those summer workouts, June 1-ish, we'll get back to work from a practice standpoint.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Thanks, guys.